Good evening, everybody. It's great to have you all here. There's 23 of you in currently, and we are here at 9 o'clock on the dot, pretty much, to talk a little bit about, well, I say a little bit, a lot about Nottingham Forest. Now, a lot has happened, in particular over the last few hours. To be fair, I was meant to be having a rest night tonight because I think the heat is just taking it out of me. And I'm joined today by Lee, and I can see that you've been impacted by the heat as well, haven't you?
Yeah, it's killing me.
It's killing you. And you know what? No matter how much...
But not humidity. That's the difference.
Exactly. But the problem is, even if you have your window open, it just doesn't seem like the flow of air coming in is enough. So, but he's got the right idea because, look, I've got my Sagres, if that's how you say it, my lovely bottle or cup or whatever, glass there. I've got two of those just to prepare for tonight because it's going to be mental. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, pretty, big revelations tonight. John Percy. I think John Percy has just waited for the night to just reveal it all, hasn't he? All in one article as well. This is the craziest thing. Nottingham Forest have put in a £9 to £10 million bid for Lewis O'Brien from Huddersfield. They're in cordial talks with Keinan Davis, and Morgan Gibbs-White is a priority signing. So these are three big revelations and three things that actually in the past were just speculation among fans. Because I know for a fact that although, it could be said, oh, well, we've always known he's been interested in Morgan Gibbs-White, there's not really been much concrete evidence. It's more just been circulation and, well, they've got links, this and that. So, it's good to see that there is actually some solid evidence to it. Now I just want to know what the valuation is going to be and whether that £30 million is actually what they want or whether they would be willing to go a little bit lower, which knowing Wolves' financial situation, I doubt they will. But before I go and ask Lee a few questions, I just want to say good evening to you, Mark. Daryl, good evening. Jiggsy's Workshop, good evening. Harold, good evening. Warren, I hope you're doing well, my friend. Megaphone Man says #1 door fan. Look at that, #1 door fan. That's brilliant, that is. Don't worry, guys. Me, Door, and Lee, and a guy called Billy. I think that's his name. I don't know, 100%. We're all going to Germany. We're all going to Germany. That's going to be a laugh and a half. Yeah. I hope we make it back in time for Door to be at work. Who, what, where, when? Everywhere. That's all I'm going to say to that. Even in all first clean sheet of the season, well, pre-season, as if anybody didn't know, because, well, in fact, most of you didn't know because nobody could access the stream tonight because Forest said it was at 8 o'clock when it wasn't. I was planning to potentially do, and this is thanks to Liam Stanhope that gave me the idea, to do a Mark Goldbridge-esque stream with me talking about the game and stuff like that. But guess what? We couldn't even access it. So thank God I didn't pay. I'm really hoping that Forest talk a little bit about that. Hello, Robert. How are you doing? Well, Marks. Hello. Phil, evening from Baking, Cornwall. Baking, I know I've got a friend in Cornwall at the moment and they are on the beach 24/7, always seeming to be telling me about it, which is great, isn't it, whilst I'm cooped up. Hello, George. Hello, Gamer316. Stefan, hope you're doing well. Guys, if everybody that's commenting in, Joe, thank you very much for joining the last stream we did really good. Seems like a daily posting channel lately. Do you know what? I mean, it went from every Monday to the odd one, every now and then. And then I bought StreamYard and it was I just thought, you know what, let's just do a stream a week. And then people wanted it every day. So
it'll quieten down once the transfers blow over. And that's done.
I will quieten down, Lee. That's what will happen.
Program. Oh yeah, probably.
What will happen is and this is just me being honest with you all now, when transfer deadline day happens, I'll probably be doing a transfer deadline day stream. And it'll be an extended stream. It'll be hours and hours and hours of the latest news coming in, and there'll probably be a lot of us on this. It'll be like a team of us running it, and then after that, it will be a stream on a Thursday night and then a video on a Monday night. Because on my main video, like YouTube channel header, it does say new episodes every Monday at 7:30. So if you're an OG, you will know that's what we used to do. So and we're going to go back to it. But anyway. I hope you're all doing well. Eve, I'm planning on getting a home membership so I can come to a few home games. You'll absolutely see both of us. It'd be great to meet you at the games, Eve. Gordon Mikalev, was that Jordan Larson who come on second half? I don't know if it was Jordan Larson. I think it was a different Larson.
We've got a Larson, haven't we?
We've got a Larson from the academy because Jordan Larson is the one from Spartak. I think it was. It's a free agent.
No, it wasn't him. I don't think it was him.
No, it's I can't remember his first name now. But no, do you know what? Google's going to help us out with that one, isn't it? Let's have a quick look on Google. You'll probably hear my mic really loud now because I'm right next to it. So is it Zach? Oh, Julian Larson. That's it. Julian Larson. Yeah, he was on. I think he's a pretty good player, but he needs a loan as well. But let's talk about the main news of the day now, because we're getting deep into this stream. There's 113 of you in. Please feel free to ask any questions and we'll get to you. But Lee, my first question to you and the first question of the stream is £9 to £10 million bid for Lewis O'Brien. What are you thinking? Happy? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, why not? We need midfielders, don't we? It's at the minute, it's not looking like we'll get Garner back. Everyone said, "Oh, he's not playing today. He's not playing for Man U today." Apparently, he's took a knock. That's all it is. I wouldn't read too much into it from what I've been looking at. Managed to dig up on the net. Yeah, O'Brien, he's supposed to be a good player, isn't he? I've not seen too much of him. Okay, I saw him at Wembley and stuff, but that one game or a few games against Huddersfield weren't enough for me to sort of judge the guy. So everyone says he's a good player. I'm happy for him to come. Simple as that. We need it. So
what we do, I mean, we're in dire need of midfielders. Obviously, it looks like we've almost finished off the defensive kind of situation. We got Biancone, Niakate, Richards, Nico Williams, and is there anybody else other than that?
Does that rule out Toffolo though? Are we still in for him? Because I think at the price, I would get him just for depth.
I think they'll get him. And as I've said, and we've debated this so heavily, and just want to say, hi, David, I hope you're well. I'll send you the invite link if you do want to come on for a quick 5 minutes talk. Phil, I hope you're doing well. And Dean, hope you're doing well also. Yeah, I do think, like, you know, I think Toffolo is good. Now, I have said this before. I think possibly a depth player. And, you know, as Joe said, actually, on last night's stream, he could adapt to move somewhere else in the squad. You know, players do that all the time to try and make their way in the squad. So I would say for £2.5 million, we should do it.
It's a no-brainer.
You've got nothing to lose.
You've got to do it. It's a no-brainer. You need depth, don't you, in the Premiership? You know.
And I do. Well, you know, obviously you mentioned James Garner, and I thought actually for people that say that Man United just didn't want to play him, well, that's just not true. He did take a knock. Yeah. And if you'd watched the game, I think he actually could have got game time for me, because there was a point where Man United were completely all over Liverpool. Even when Liverpool put on their better team, United were playing better. So, but I mean, it's pre-season. You know, we can't say our games are training games and the Leicester versus County game isn't one. You know what I'm saying? I just think as much as, you know, we're all having the banter with Leicester, there's an element of hypocrisy in it. You know, we can't slate Leicester and stuff. Yes, they put out good players, but it's pre-season, you know, so anything can really happen.
Yeah, it means nothing.
It means nothing, you know, and we can banter with it. I love the banter about it because it's funny. But some people who are being deadly serious about it, it's like there's no need to be serious about it. It's pre-season for every single team, and that includes Liverpool. You know, as much as I don't like Liverpool, it's pre-season for them, you know.
Don't get me wrong. If Derby lose, they're going to get it from me. Don't make no mistake about it.
Yeah, but
they were giving it loads with Coventry, so it's got to be done, hasn't it?
They're playing big teams in the in the pre-season, like Harrogate Town and Gateshead and people like that, aren't they? So, well, listen. Let's talk Lewis O'Brien, as we were saying. Now, I made up a little... I made this very quickly because I forgot to do the graphic earlier. Lewis O'Brien, I'm just checking for any spelling errors. Doesn't look like it. This is the man here. He's 23, 176 professional appearances, 12 goals, 13 assists. And he's got a valuation of 9 to 10 million. And the reason I put the plus sign is because... I do think that although Forest have bid 9 to 10 million, and I think that's what they'll likely get him for, I can't imagine they'll ask for much more because I don't think he's worth much more. They might try it though, because obviously we've got that, you know, that promotion money. But I think Forest will get him for that price, but the plus sign is just there purely in case they do ask for more.
He's got a release clause for 10 million.
Is there a release clause for 10 million?
I believe so. I believe so. I'm not 100% on it.
Okay, because I'm having a I
could be wrong. I'm sure I've read it. He has.
Well, I mean, to be honest, that would be a pretty good price for him anyway. So if I was Forest, I'd be snapping him up for that money. Which, you know, and this was John Percy that actually released this. And if anybody's interested, I have put the link to the article just in the comments, so I'll star that very quickly.
Okay,
for anybody that's interested.
Okay, I've got a question for you and for the people in the comments. Right?
Go on.
If it was a choice between O'Brien and Garner, who would you take if you could only have one? Would it be O'Brien? Would it be Garner?
I think it would be.
Just the players.
Oh. Do you know? Because I know where you're going. We've spoken about this. Do you know what I mean? And
For me,
I think for me,
given
who
those
would you
stats,
go?
given those stats you've just put up, I think he offers more. O'Brien. I've got to be honest. I don't dislike Garner. I like him. Do I think he'll be a fantastic Premiership player? No, I don't.
But I suppose they're both making the jump up, though, aren't they? They are both making that jump up, and I think it's a really, really hard one.
Well, you'd struggle to pay 10 million for Garner, wouldn't you? We've already said we'd only pay between 6, 8 at a push. You wouldn't go anymore.
Well, Garner's stats are actually better. Garner's stats, he's played
assists and goals.
Yeah, he's got. So Lewis O'Brien has just 11 more games than him because James Garner has 165 pro appearances, roughly. I think that's including under 18s as well. So maybe kind of semi-pro as well. 23 goals and 19 assists.
What about last season, though?
Last season, I can have a look at some 2022 stats.
If you can compare him on last season, then I suppose.
Let me have a look at 2020 because I mean I know that a lot of people are saying Garner, but do you know what? I like both of them though, and I'd rather have both of them to be honest.
Garner.
Well, Garner had this is according to Google, by the way. Played 39 matches plus 5 as a sub. Yeah, he had 14 shots on target from a total of 30 shots. Scored 4 goals, and he averaged 35 passes per match with a pass completion rate of 81%, and he had 8 assists. So it's not actually that bad stats wise.
What about Brian for last season?
Brian for the last season.
I don't know.
I know I should have come prepared with all of this now, shouldn't I? I think that's. I'll look at that.
A bit. It's kind of my fault, Jay. So.
No. We need to. This is what we need to get to. So he had 46 matches overall. He had 16 shots on target from a total of 36 and scored 3 goals. He averaged 39 passes per match, so 4 more than Garner, and had a pass completion rate of 79%, so 2% less. So I don't know really how I'm feeling about that one.
To be fair,
I would say, do you know what? Based off those stats, I would say Garner's the better option. But
are you going to get Garner for 10 million?
I don't think you're going to get Garner at this point.
No, I don't.
Like either way. This is the really hard thing about it because actually looking at those stats, don't get me wrong, I want Lewis O'Brien at Forest because they're both good players and it's clear to see that they've got very close stats. So, yeah, for me, I think it would be Garner. I think it would be Garner for me. But
I don't think we'll get both. Not those two.
No, I don't know. I think it's like... I don't know. It's so hard to compare the two because you look at those stats and they're literally like a couple of % off or a couple passes off or, a couple shots on target off. It's so close, but this is really close.
What comes into that though, Jay, is what players you've got around you to give you the opportunity to do said passes or whatever. You know what I mean?
So potentially,
Garner had a better midfield around him,
but he's going to have an even better team around him next season.
Yeah. So it's just.
So if you put it that way, based off those stats, it would seem that given the team Forest are going to put out next season, it would make sense that Garner would do better, right? But then again, it depends on how or what happens. You just don't know, do you? And it's like
it's close. It's a close one thing.
O'Brien has a couple more years' experience, and he's also a team leader. You know what I mean? So. He's got better communication skills, perhaps, but either way, I think stats-wise, Garner. But I think we could get Garner for less than 10 million.
So couldn't they? Sitting in next to Yates, that O'Brien. I think do you think you've seen him more than me? Do you think he's a bit more mobile than Garner in terms of pace and stuff?
I think he's a bit.
Garner's the quickest.
I think O'Brien. I think O'Brien's quicker. And there's a little bit of a difference about how they break into the attack because if you look at Garner going forward, he's always got left or right in his mind. You know what I mean? So, whereas O'Brien's going through the middle, and he's doing his thing there. So, but I don't know how that would work out in a Steve Cooper system because he wants to play to your wings. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. It's
This
tough.
is what Cooper gets paid the big bucks for, isn't it?
Yeah.
We don't have this conundrum, do we?
Well,
We just
but
sit back and enjoy.
I'm glad we don't have to deal with this and look at all the stats, because whoever's looking at the stats going, oh God, they're almost identical, but Garner's a little bit younger. It's like, but the thing is though, it's not like O'Brien's like 27 and James Garner's the age he is. Like they're both near on the same age as well. So it just makes it, when it comes to talking about potential as well, it's like, well, there's not really much to separate them.
It come down to of who's actually available, because I don't think Garner will be available. Not for a while. He'll probably.
Do you think maybe?
I don't think United will sell him.
So if not deadline day, is Christmas an option? January kind of time? Do you think that's an option, or do you still think that's out of bounds?
I think they'll loan him, but Garner wants to play for United, doesn't it? So, with all due respect, I don't want a player who doesn't really want to be here.
Mm. Well, I mean, that is absolutely true, because then you risk going down the United route. So, people saying, having a look at some of these comments, we need to offload Panzo Larea and Beso Lolly. No, I don't. I think if you mean on loan, yes.
Panzo's gone on loan to Coventry, hasn't
he? I think he's about to. I don't know if is it official.
I'm sure. I don't know. It could be.
I'll have a quick gander over Twitter and see what I can see, because I know that I did post earlier that he would be. I don't know if anything's been announced yet, but either way, Panzo is pretty much going to Coventry, and it's going to be confirmed soon, I can imagine. So nothing official yet, but it's likely very soon. Larea, he needs a loan. I think he just needs to be. I think he needs to be played in a wing back position, and he needs to get used to it, because he was too defensive for my liking. But that'll come with time, I suppose. And Beso needs a loan.
He didn't have a lot of time though, did he? He didn't. He got a few minutes here and there.
But you couldn't afford to give him time at that point.
No, so it's kind of not his fault at the same time, is it?
But no, but he's got time.
You can't be too harsh on him.
He needs it alone in England though, and a championship club, and I think they'll sort that for. I hope they do. And Beso needs a loan. Lolly, I'm a bit stuck on because I love Lolly so much. I don't know. I'm going to not answer that one. Harbottle, I don't. Yeah, I've rated this guy because he's a good defender. He come back from injury, for the under-23s, and he's done really well. So, you know what? I think he needs just more time and more support from everybody, because I think he's going to be the next, Joe Worrell or the likes. It took Joe Worrell a while to break into the team.
Yeah.
He had his bad spells. Don't forget, there was times when people were saying, "Get that man off the pitch. He's rubbish." And he got sent to Rangers. You know what I mean? The second best team in Scotland. So,
people were happy for him to go to Rangers as well. If you remember,
that's what I'm saying. People were happy to see him go forever.
Yeah.
Now you'd be saying no. That's never even a thought. Yeah. Cafu, I like Cafu. He assisted Cook today because Forest beat Coventry Burton 1-0, and Cafu put the cross in for Steve Cook. So Lyle Taylor needs to go as well. I like the guy. He's a nice guy.
He got injured today.
Did he get injured today?
Yeah, I think he had to come off. And
he needs to go.
Yeah,
he really does need to go.
I just think he needs a championship to League One side, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to go Birmingham, because I know there was some talk of that, but with Lebo, you're not there anymore, and Birmingham, I don't think being able to afford it at this rate.
No. I'll tell you what, Hull would be a good place for him. They're signing some really good players.
I agree. I think Hull are doing some great. They had John Michael Serry from for the guy that used to play for Fulham, who Liam Stanhope was talking about. So, but lots of interesting signings. Larea looks lost on them pre-seasons. It's tough, in it. Completely different from Canada or America or wherever he was. Are they going to spend big on the midfield? Absolutely. They're going to probably spend 30-40 million, I would say, on this midfield, and it could be 2 or 3 more. And then they might I think they're going to look at Keinan Davis as well, probably bring that valuation of 15 million down a lot. Harbot will sign a new deal. He needs a loan. I think Mansfield could be one for him. I think he deserves that, to be completely honest. It's the quality that he needs to be playing. We've got far more chance of getting O'Brien. Completely agree. I don't think United will sell him. I don't think it matters what price, really. Unless you're offering him 100 million, they're not going to sell him. Well said about Garner. Looking left or right. That's just how he does it, though, isn't it? If you look at Garner on that pitch, he's looking at it, and I would say he usually goes right. You can see him kind of drifting, and then he'll do it's a beautiful pass. He just skims it out to the right, and obviously Jed Spence or even Jono at times would be there. But with O'Brien, it's a little bit more down the middle. So I think maybe Garner would be more suited to the tactics, but we don't know what Steve Cooper's going to come out with this year. So let's have a quick look. 134 of you watching, there's 163 now watching. If you can, help me get to 700 subscribers because we're quite close. And obviously, it would be amazing if you could help me because it goes a long way and I love doing this. So,
it's
be
free.
amazing. It's free as well.
It's free.
It's
free.
free.
Subscribe, hit that button.
It takes a second. And look, if it means daily uploads as well for more subscribers, I'll do it. Whatever. I don't mind. So is the Panzo rumour true because he was involved in the team tonight? I mean, Coventry were after him before we were. I know that Coventry actually inquired about Panzo in 2020. So this is 2 years, well, a year and a half before we had even thought about him, before Steve Cooper was manager. So Coventry have had their eyes on him on a permanent basis, though, before this. But it looks like they're going to get him back on loan. So I would say...
Would you keep him around, though? If we don't get Toffolo, technically we've got one left wing back.
Yes. Do you know what? I've said this to Joe last night. I said, I think it was Joe in all the previous streams. I asked the question. It's really, really hard because I really like the look of Panzo. And, as Salenzi here says, he's a good player. He is a good player. He's solid. In that whole game, he was solid.
And Beso's another one. If he could stay injury-free, he's definitely got the talent. He just needs to run against, obviously, alone will do him good.
I know more about Panzo, even though he's been here long, not as long as Mbeso, because Mbeso's been here a while, since he joined from, I think, PSG.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, Panzo, I would keep him if we don't get Toffolo, but if not, let the guy go out on a loan. As much as it pains me to say it, because I think we need him for depth, and I think he's a solid option. He needs game time, and I don't think we should deprive him of that, because otherwise his form could deteriorate or whatever.
So technically, Nico Williams can play on the left as well, can't he? But then you lose him from the right.
Exactly. And then
you've got Bianconi on the right, haven't you? But it's nice options to have, though, eh?
It's versatility. And Forest have versatile defenders all around, which makes it such a more comforting experience to watch them, because obviously we've seen it in the past. If there's an injury, then it's, you're worried.
We're pegs in round holes, haven't we?
Exactly. We've seen it when Steve Cook came off. I think it was what game was it? Was it not Reading, was it? Was it Reading?
He was injured, didn't he?
I'm sure it wasn't the same game where Etheridge, that keeper, where he got absolutely
that's Swansea.
Was it Swansea? I don't know what game. Was it Swansea, wasn't it?
They got the keeper injured, didn't they?
I'm sure it was that same game. I don't know if it was. Guys, if you know what game that was, remind us, because I've lost it.
Lots happened since then, Jamie.
A lot, just a little bit. But yeah, that was a mad game, that was. Just having a look at some comments now. I didn't think we would loan him out. No, I didn't either. But then again, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. I can imagine they're working on something for Mbe. So Cafu will help this season. I agree. I think he'll be a good backup midfielder to have there. Yeah, absolutely. If Ryan Yates in there, for example, I think he could do a job there, or vice versa. I'm only saying this to get some off the wage bill. Good point, but I think a few of them do need to stay. I think loans will get some of it off the wage bill. I'm convinced. Okay, that's. Hope Cafu gets a chance in the Prem. I agree. I think he's very passionate as well.
I think he will.
Yeah. Harbottle has already gone on. Oh, has he already gone on loan to Mansfield? That's great news if so. Need loads more depth in the midfield. Cafu and Colback won't be enough. Exactly. So you're going to need 3 midfielders, really. But if you bought Garner as well as O'Brien and then another midfielder, Garner's only moving into another situation like he had at Man U. And I'm sure he'd probably rather wait on the bench for Man U than he would rather wait on the bench for Forest or whatever.
In terms of players coming in, we're looking at a keeper. You'd say 2 or 3 central midfielders, a number 10, possibly a winger, and a striker. So what you're looking at, about 6, 7 maybe, give or take.
You're looking at spending 60 million again.
It's still going to be, it's going to be a big chunk, isn't it?
I think we're going to go to 110 to. I've said 110 from the start.
120, I think we'll hit that.
120 is entirely possible. But this is it, guys. It's like, we've got to realise that we're going to have to make these big signings in order to stay up, and not just stay up, because Steve Cooper isn't sat there thinking, I just want to stay up. It's in his mind, but he's also, I want to advance further and do decent. You know what I mean? I want to make a statement in that league. But obviously, He knows what he wants to do. Neil Etheridge, Birmingham.
What you
Birmingham.
do though, Jamie, you get your squad together this season, don't you? You build a nucleus. You stay up. Next season, you then add quality to it, don't you? You don't necessarily have to bring in 10, 11, 12 players because you've got the main bulk, haven't you? It's then about adding quality to it to make it better.
Over time. But this is it.
Yeah.
If he can build a good core squad, he only has to make a couple more additions next season. So obviously he's not going to be spending as much, but the people that he does buy, he'll probably have done a bit more research on. So David says 150 million. That'd be interesting.
I wouldn't moan.
I wouldn't moan about that, but we do want to be careful as well financially, obviously. Has Andy Reid been promoted to first team coach? I don't think he has. Not that I've seen anything of. Spending that geek shipping money or Greek shipping money. You got to get this right. I don't know if you can really call Marinakis a geek. Swan's gone to Mansfield as well. That's good. I think Will Swan deserves a loan. Yeah, he's done really well in the youth ranks. So it would make sense for that to happen. We have to bring those players in now because we don't have to. Well, listen, and someone has just tagged me in something. Brandon Doan on Twitter. You might want to follow him. And it's Peter O'Rourke, who is a freelance journalist. He's got 112,000 followers. He said that Everton are now closing in on trying to sign Morgan Gibbs-White, basically, and they say they're confident in signing the under-21. So Wolves, they're wanting 25 to 30 million. Lee, I've not really asked for your opinion much on this with that valuation. What are you thinking?
If they want to throw 30 million at him, let him go. I think there's definitely better we can get out there. I mean, I'm not saying this is realistic at all, but I can give you two names straight away, whether it's a loan or a permanent. I can give you Asensio, which me and you have spoke about. He's at about 20 million, isn't it? You can pay 10 million in wages. You pay 5 million, you've covered his wages. So that'd be 25 million. Or maybe Conor Gallagher on loan. That's another one I'd like to see. I think he's quality at number 10.
So do you think Asensio, and I do just want to say as well, Paul Tenorio, an acclaimed journalist, has just said that multiple MLS teams are trying to get Larea back in on loan. So that's an interesting one. And Sarah Clapson has just confirmed that Ryan Yates is out for a month with a knee injury. So that's not good news.
That's a blow.
That is a blow. But this is it. We spoke about Cafu. You know, who knows what's going to happen with that. And Steve Cooper, he's got versatility, and I'm sure he will do when he buys these midfielders. But this is why, as we've said throughout of this, it is really, really important that we have depth and versatility in that midfield because things like this can happen. Yeah. But back to your point about Asensio. Back to Gibbs-White and Asensio.
No. Is it up to me, though? No, it's not. So would I moan?
Do you know what, Lee?
At the same time, no, I wouldn't.
Asensio for 20 million, I realistically don't think he'll come to Forest. No. I think as much as I would have him, I don't think he would for 20 million. I think they would ask for more, but I don't think he'd want to go. So that doesn't. So for me, that's out of the equation. As much as I think it'd be an interesting signing. But I want to ask you the question then that I've asked on Twitter and I've asked to other people. You may have answered it on Twitter actually. And someone says we won't get Noel Gallagher. Conor Gallagher. We certainly won't get Noel Gallagher.
He's worked with Cooper before. Conor Gallagher.
Well, this is it. So, exactly. Well, anything can happen. Nothing's impossible. We've seen it. Well, Nick says Everton can have him for 30 million. But I want to ask you the question though. Would you be more inclined to get Morgan Gibbs-White for 30 million if they got another good, midfielder in on a free like Aaron Ramsey or someone else? Would you then be a little bit more kind of thoughtful towards paying that much?
The issue, I just think at 30 million, it's way overpriced. But again, like I said, it's not really my money and it's not really my say. Do I think he's a good player? Yeah. Do I think he's worth 30 million? No. So but if Steve Cooper wants him and the board are willing to pay it, what will be will be. Apparently he wants to come, but obviously Everton, with all their financial troubles, are paying 30 million for him. I know they've sold Richarlison, so that's probably why. But
well, I mean, and this is what Nick says: Everton are looking desperate and overpaying.
I think they'll go down. I genuinely do.
Potentially, and this is, and I don't want to say this because we're Premier League content creators, which is a weird thing to say, and I know that Dor is absolutely loving it because he's been doing it 5 years. So subscribe to him as well if you can. So. Ez is a massive. He rates Morgan Gibbs-White a lot. And although I do agree that we're creating a Prem squad and we have to, obviously, as Nick says, Everton could be overpaying. And if it doesn't pay off quite as well as they think, then that could be that's 30 million they could have spent on maybe 2 players that maybe aren't from England or somewhere else that could have massive potential. Like, Man United, I mean, I know that they got Malacia for 15 million. I mean, anybody could have got him for 15 million from the Prem. You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody could have. If I could have him at Forest, I would have at the time. You know what I mean? Because Malacia is a great player. Seeing him at Feyenoord, he's good. But you know what I'm saying here? It's like every signing you make is a gamble. But for Everton, £30 million when last season you very nearly got relegated. And in my opinion, Frank Lampard isn't the greatest of managers.
They're pinning a lot of hopes on Gibbs-White, aren't they?
This is it. But they're also pinning a lot of hope on Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard as well, because I like Frank Lampard and I thought he was a great player. But let's be completely honest, he was given everything at Derby. He was given everything. Tomori.
He was given everything at Chelsea, wasn't he?
He was given everything at Chelsea. But Tomori, he had Tomori to play with. He's now at AC Milan. He had Harry Wilson. He had Mason Mount. And all the other players as well. This guy had everything at Derby, and he did well with Derby, but still didn't get promoted. And now he's not got much with Everton, although actually he's still got a fairly good side. He's not doing much with it. I think Everton could be contenders to go down this season, as sad as it would be for, one of the only teams to have never been relegated from the Premier League.
No, get him down. Get him down. I don't care.
Really?
Yeah, get him down. I don't care. Get him gone. They fluked it last season.
Well, Cam West says here, Everton trying to find a replacement for Richarlison. Do you think Morgan Gibbs-White is that man?
That's what they're doing with Gibbs-White.
But for half the price, half the price sounds like a massive cut, but it's really not actually in those terms. Do you think Morgan Gibbs-White is the man to take over from the likes of Richarlison?
He's unknown quantity in the Premiership, isn't it? Championship, it was brilliant. He's a good player. I'm not going to take that away from him. He's a good player. Would I like him at Forest? Yeah. Not at 30 million.
Well, I've seen loads of things going around, and it was, who said Brennan was worth 50 million? Now, this is a conversation that we need to have.
I've got an argument for this though.
Well, let me say this first bit before, because I do want to speak about that bit, because when people said Johnson was worth 30 million in January, I love Brennan Johnson, by the way. I think he's a class player, and I'm really, really glad that he's in the Forest team. One of the best, prospects, perhaps in the Championship and now in the Premier League, and even on an international scale. But in January, someone was mentioning 30 million for him. I thought, take it. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous amount of money. But now I think he's starting to live up to that a little bit more, to be honest. So, But Lee, I want to hear your argument against that, because I'm a little bit on the fence with it all.
Yeah. What it is, I've heard people say you'd expect 30 million for Brennan Johnson, but you won't pay it for Gibbs-White. My argument is, and people can disagree with me, I don't mind. My argument is Gibbs-White hasn't played at a higher level than Brennan Johnson. Gibbs-White's played for England under 21s. Brennan Johnson's a full international, playing against Belgium and scoring, Holland and scoring. He's going to the World Cup. That's the difference. He's playing at the top of his game, or the top of what he can achieve in terms of international football. Gibbs-White's not there yet. Not to say he won't be, but that's why I reckon Johnson's worth more than Gibbs-White.
Well, let's have a look at the stats, shall we? Because and this is what it says on Google. Morgan Gibbs-White played 35 matches, 2 as a sub, 34 shots on target from a total of 70 shots, and scored 12 goals. So he had an expected goal ratio of 10.22 goals that season. He averaged 38 passes per match with a pass completion rate of 73%, and he had 10 assists. So good from him. Pretty good record, you would argue. Is it £30 million worthy? I don't quite know. Now, this is Brennan Johnson's stats once I get them up. And I'm reading this off Google, so if anybody does want to quote me on this, more than happy to. But last season, he had 19 goals, and he had a good load of assists as well. So a really good season from both of them. But I suppose in some senses, 2 different players, albeit similar, but very different players, because Morgan Gibbs-White is more of a physical player, right? You can see that. I think the reason Brennan will do well in the Prem is because he's not necessarily that physical. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll tussle for a ball, but he won't. You know, it won't make it his massive priority to go for a header or anything like that. Whereas he'll poach it and he'll take it.
He'll run off the shoulder, won't he?
Exactly. And because it's not that physical in the Prem, because you can't be with the referees, I think that if Forest are practicing the set pieces, then that'd be great. And this is where it'll be good to have a player like O'Brien in, because Huddersfield had the best set pieces record in the Championship last season. If you can bring someone into the club that knows about set pieces and can bring a little bit of advice, perhaps, I think that'd be really useful. So I think there's a lot to O'Brien that I like on and off the pitch. And for 10 million, I think it's a really, really good price. And
we need a set-piece specialist, don't we? We do. Especially if we can get Garner back.
Well, 100%. I would have both. But and Forest Dances Lee talking sense as usual. You should hear him talking about flights to Germany. No sense at all. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah, I saw his face then. I thought I don't want to fist through the screen there. Don't want to get in the face there. But no, that's going to be an exciting trip, in it. Only what? How many days we got now, Lee? 9 days.
9 earlier, didn't you? He messages me every day, guys, with the countdown. He's even got it on timer, I think.
It was 2 minutes past midnight, and I messaged it. I was like, guys, this is it. We're going to Germany in 9 days. Come on, let's do it. It's going to be awesome. Yates is out for a month. Yeah, I've just seen that, Will. Thank you for letting us know. It's a big blow. So yeah, agree. Rooney has been like, no, he won't.
Does anyone know what Yates has done? What potentially it is? Is it
just all I know at the moment is it's just a knee injury. Sarah Clapson literally put on Twitter, bit of a blow for Nottingham Forest as Ryan Yates is ruled out with a knee injury. So that was literally
back in 2 weeks. We've seen what happens when we get injuries. Last season,
exactly.
They're back earlier than expected, aren't they?
Well, we don't know, do we? I mean, German beer and sausages, says this man here. Hayder starting by October. He could also be an option. He wasn't bad when he played, actually, to be fair. Rooney is not going to Everton, by the way, Harold. He's just signed for DC United over in America.
Manager,
so that's not happening.
Manager out there. So.
Weird decision that is. Kiss, I've not seen you on here forever, my friend. Where have you been?
Doggy day.
Agree. A confident Davis. Right. You mentioned Davis. Paul Hollingsworth, you have brought us to our next talking point. Now, tweets, an extract that I took from this wonderful article. Now, you can just see, if we move our heads, look, you can see where the writing is. So Davis has joined Villa in Australia for their pre-season tour. So no deal with Forest is yet to be, is like imminent or anything. But it looks like Forest and Villa have good relationship, which is great. And Forest, and this is the most important bit, Forest have also held cordial discussions with Aston Villa over a possible deal for Keinan Davis, who spent half season on loan at the club last season. So it's good, and it's saying that something is in the works there. So the idea of Keinan Davis coming back to Forest now doesn't seem an impossibility.
He wants to, doesn't he? He does.
He wants to come back.
Very clear. Yeah.
And he's got a very, very good, he's got a good relationship with everybody. So, and as Cam West has rightly said, he does more than just score goals.
He's all around game.
Exactly. And you saw him in that second leg at Sheffield, the way he just ran from the defence all the way to halfway. After Breeze Samba made that save and he was gone.
And he wasn't even fully fit either. This is the thing. If we can keep him fit and help his hamstrings somehow, if they can work miracles, then we'll have one hell of a player. It's always that doubt with the hamstrings.
And I agree. And God, I wish the world could help me with my hip flexor at the moment. It's killing me, man. I got my X-ray booked next week for a thigh problem, but there we go. That's enough of me. NFFC Player Watch says, do you think Davis could go? Oh, do you know what? When I was commentating, I was thinking to myself, this man, he can run from a midfield position and score. Do you think Davis could do a cam roll?
Depends if he's got a final ball. It's all about the decision making, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what lets Zinc down sometimes. He'd overdo it, or he won't release the ball, and that's why he's not a Prem player.
But you saw Davis last season though, and I think he did actually release the ball pretty well. He was making some really useful,
didn't he? Or set up 1 or 2 goals. So
he set up a good few goals. So he did well last season, and I think. Do you know what? Although it wouldn't be the preferred position, because I think it would be a little bit not outlandish, but to have him in a different, like a cam position, just wouldn't feel right. Do you know what I mean? And also, how much pace has he got? You know what I mean? And he doesn't have the ability to come back like Zinkernagel did. we've seen him not pace wise, kind of stamina wise, he can't last for as long as Zinkernagel did. So I think in terms of defensive ability, like Zinks did, in terms of stamina, I don't think he could fill that role. But in terms of the finished product, passing and shooting, I think he could.
He's only going to get better, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it would be down to what Steve thinks on that one. But Davison was like Michael Antonio, deep, takes on 3 and shoots. Yeah, there's a lot of arguments to and for it. It's really, really difficult, to be honest. And yeah, Russell, you're right. It was the Garner goal that he set up a really nice one for.
Get him cheap enough, he's worth having.
Exactly.
5 to 8 million is worth having. 15, again, it's one where they're overpricing it.
Well, here's a question for you then. Do you think Davis has got a better final product than Zinks?
I mean, it's a bit hard to compare it, isn't it?
I suppose, yeah.
It's quite difficult. I saw some nice passes from both over the course of the season, but it's a bit difficult to compare, isn't it? As he never really played the same position as Zink. But well, he does seem to have an okay final ball, doesn't
Let's say you were playing on the edge of the box, though, right? And let's say, you, Lee, I know that you're like prime Pele, but let's say you were going to let someone else take the shot.
Pele, you mean?
Yeah, you are the best that's ever lived, right?
Yeah.
The GOAT. Let's say you're on the edge of the box and there's a real opportunity to score. Who are you going to pick to have that shot? Davis or Zinkernagel?
Good question. Davis. At least he's got a chance of getting it on target. Without being rude, like Zink struggled from 5 yards, didn't he?
But this is it, though. I think Zinkernagel at the start of the season was his shots and stuff were great. Danish Dynamite. I remember watching him at the start of the season thinking, I want Zinkernagel to shoot from outside the box because he'd be brilliant. So, by the way, this is a bit of an ad. It's not really an ad, but that's a Hotel Football pencil. So shout out to Hotel Football. You owe me money for that ad. But yeah, I mean,
you're nicking their pencil.
Well, what can I say? It's freebies, isn't it? I think it's the least they could have done. They made me pay. I lost something in the room and they made me pay 38p for packaging to send it back. Could you believe it? And you pay like 150 quid for the room.
They're a business.
Oh, they're a business, yeah. Gary Neville, you can do one for that one. I did not like that. Love Gary Neville, but that did annoy me. Davis was 1 to 2 mil 6 months ago. Yeah, he was 2 million.
It was 2 million when he came to us on loan. That's what Villa.
So technically, his value would have increased by 7.5 times over that time, and he'd only scored 5 goals and got an assist or 2.
That's what I won't pay any more than about 7 million, 8 million.
But there's the argument of what Cam said, though. He does a lot off scoring and maybe getting the odd assist. But even then,
this is a new level. That was the Championship. This is a new level.
But does that constitute 15 million, though? I still don't think it does.
No, that's my point. It's going to be even harder now, isn't it? Can he make the step up potentially?
Maybe.
Look at the other players we've been linked with for like 10 million. That Argentinian forward, 10 million. That's only technically 3 million more if we pay 7 for Davis. So,
yeah, anything can happen. And valuation-wise, I think Villa are going to. I think they're going to succumb to the pressure and just want to sell him.
They want to sell him because he's not going to be happy to sit there, is he?
No, and he won't let it happen as well. He wants the best for his career. So, George, I'm not going to put the comment that you've put on the screen because I know exactly what you do. This every time we do a stream. You try and catch me out with some ridiculous name.
What's it for now? Come on, let's have a look.
He said that. So I'm going to keep it off like that because it's quite sensitive. Yeah, look, George, you're going to try and keep me every stream. I want to see how many streams it takes you to actually make me say something. You've got more luck on Arsenal Fan TV, so try it over there. Why did we sign Richie Larea with 2 more? But I mean, wasn't Richie Larea actually a right back? I'm sure he was on the right.
Yeah, he can play both. I'm
sure he was on the right because
he played on the right.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he only played the left for the the Hull game because I can't remember who they had on the right that game.
They had an injury, didn't they? I think
there was an injury on the left, I know, or they were changing it up.
Right, and then he came on.
Yeah, so really, I think actually they had him more as a backup for Spence, but I suppose you didn't really need him, which is lucky. The size of Davis scares defenders. Yeah, he's an absolute beast, and if you've ever stood next to him,
battering ram, no doubt.
He's massive. Lee, if you think I look like an absolute unit, which I know you always say to me, you say, "Oh, mate,
You
you're
really
a unit."
don't look like a unit, Jay. I'm sorry.
No, Lee always says to me, says, "You look like a unit. You should stop on them roids, shouldn't you?" And I'm like, "Oh, what are you on about?"
Calm
But,
down.
what can I say? I'm not going to show off these muscles.
I'll bet Davis he's a big lad.
Yeah, but Keinan Davis does put me to shame even. Best solution with Davis would be to loan with an option to buy. Ooh, what are your thoughts on that? Would you, and how much would you buy him?
That's the key, isn't it? What would Villa would then say? Well, yeah, if it's an option to buy, we want the 15 million. That's what they'd do, wouldn't they? So is it just better to just go, let's pay you 7 million? That's what we're willing to offer. Job done.
So do you think that given that opportunity, Aston Villa would probably still try and take?
Yeah, they'd definitely try and keep the price high, wouldn't they?
Well, it's all very, very interesting. And do you know what? I'm a bit on the fence. I'm on the fence with that one. I would rather buy him straight out, to be completely honest, because I'd rather. It's the same in life as well, though. I don't like all this Klarna stuff. When you pay for things bit by bit. I don't like it. I'd rather go skint for a while and then.
I want as little loans as possible, to be fair.
That's what I mean. I don't want to be relying on players that we don't own, because we do the whole thing of don't fall in love with a loan player. And everybody says don't fall in love with a loan player. And then they go and fall in love with him. So. No. But do you know what, though? I'm not in love with him, but there's a lot of admiration for him. You know what I mean? I'm a little bit upset because I'd said hello to him a couple of times and he's ignored me. You know what I mean? When he's just got his headphones in and he's dozing around a bit. But do you know what? I hold no bitterness to Spence. I'm so glad that he's done what he's done. And it just means a lot to me. So fair play, Spence. I like you a lot. Stanhope's away is. Yeah, there's 192 of you at the moment. If you can subscribe to Stanhope, that'd be great. He's struggling to get past 350, he says, although I know for a fact after this stream, it shouldn't be.
Don't worry, it'll come.
Come on, it will come. I felt the exact same, my friend, and it seems to be going quite well. Lighten up the mood. Anyone know where Bong has resurfaced it? Do you know what, Lee? I want you to answer that question whilst I open my window.
I would laugh if he turned up at Derby. I would be in stitches. I mean, they're signing every other golden oldie, aren't they? It'd be hilarious to see him at Derby.
So Bong to Derby is essentially.
I don't know where he is.
Says Lee. Well, I would use the loan on another centre mid. Or would you, though?
We might have to.
We might. Oh, yeah, but financially, we might have to. That's a very.
Given Yates getting injured, we might have to.
With Yates getting injured, if you've only got Colback and Cafu really as your backups, that's not Prem standard. I think Cafu, and this might be controversial, I think Cafu will make a jump to the Prem, and I think he'll be okay.
I do as a squad player.
I think he's underrated. I think he's actually hated on a bit too much for me. We should resign Bong. yeah, try it. Davies ain't worth more than 10 million. I agree. Keenan on Klarna pay says, look, you know what I've just said to you? I don't really like doing all that Klarna stuff. And sorry, there's a plane going over. I've got to shut my window again. I don't like all that Klarna stuff. So I'll tell Steve Cooper to let's not pay him on credit. Let's pay him full out if we're going to get him. So
and a week.
Yeah, come on. We'll pay him £1 a week. It'll only take 15 million years to pay it off or whatever. I don't know how long it'll take. I don't do the maths for that. Cam. Adams for me, Premier League experience already. I hope you're not on about Charlie Adams.
Oh no, not Shea Adams. I won't want him. He's not.
Well, go on then. Paul just says he loves the streams. When you put the comments on screen, leave them a bit longer to give us old codgers some time to read it. Oh, I do try and pin it. I don't know why it doesn't work. But yeah. Oh, sorry. You mean these? Got you. Right. I'll take them on board.
You whip them on and off pretty quick, Jay.
Okay. Do you know what I'll do then? I'll leave this up for a little bit. Lee, whilst you answer this question, Che Adams, you said you're not too sure on him.
Not
Tell
for
me. What are you thinking?
He's not a goal scorer. I'm not saying he's not a decent player, but I would rather have Davis if we're going to go for Shea Adams. I just would. I just don't think Shea Adams really offers anything.
But arguably,
apparently he was Southampton's top scorer last season, and they've even said he doesn't do much. And
what would you argue, though?
He got many for them.
What would you argue, though? Because people have said that Keinan Davis isn't necessarily, although he is a goal scorer, he's not like.
I think he can get better. I think in terms of goal scoring,
you think Che Adams is set in his way?
I think with the right players around Davis, it will develop him. He's still got time to develop, hasn't he? I think Che Adams is probably quite comfortable in where he is.
So do you think he'll be harder to mould?
Possibly it's doable, but I just don't think he's good enough. I'll be honest. I don't rate him. He was great as a Championship player. I just don't rate him.
Well, what about what Russell has said? Because he says Broha could be an option from Chelsea. He was at Southampton, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he was.
Thoughts on him?
Supposed to be good. I don't think we'll get him. I think he's aiming somewhere a bit higher, if I'm totally honest.
Well, I mean, he was at Southampton last season, though. So do you think maybe he's still wanting another year to prove himself?
Yeah, well, he's asked to play for Chelsea first team, hasn't he? They've said, no, you're not ready. He said, right, I'm going.
Well, he had 6 goals in 21 games last season, from what I can see on Infogol.
On Talksport, basically.
Yeah, so even then, he's not really... I mean, he's done okay. But
he's not prolific. If you're having a second or a third striker, ideally, you want them to get at least in double figures, like 10 goals, don't you? Just to help the team. I don't think
he won't come. He won't come for subs. He won't do it. He wants income. That's why he's on loan. So I think
if you're looking at Davis, if you could get him to score 10 goals a season as a third choice forward, like striker, you'd be quite happy with that. With everything else he'll give the side. You know what I mean?
This is it though. I would say that Broha doesn't look like he'll come to Forest. I think that rumor is almost dead in the dirt, really, for me. I think Castellanos surely has got to still be an idea.
That's the one I was on about for 10 million. Yeah. He's the Argentinian guy, isn't he?
I'd have Castellanos at Forest, but can he play as a... Would he do sub? I don't know.
Can he play as a number 10?
Can he? I mean, it's an interesting one. Let's have a look at what people are saying. Bong will go to Olympiacos or the MLS.
He used to play for them. He's already been there once.
Has he?
Yes. Bong used to play for Olympiacos, yeah.
Wow. Will's brought us a little update on... Oh, that's bad, that is. Anywhere in the ligaments in your knees, that is not where you want to be getting injured.
It could be literally just a sprain and it'd be okay, or it could be something a bit more serious. It's time. Time will tell with that one.
I'm hoping that a month is the worst case scenario, though. We've seen it before with likes of Keinan Davis, where they've kind of given a worst case and said he'll miss a couple of matches, but he's actually been there.
Stands, and then they'll know a little bit better.
Yeah, I think we're just going to have to take it with a pinch of salt, and just Steve will probably be already preparing what he's thinking for Newcastle on the 6th. Yeah. It looks like he'll likely miss now. But Che Adams, no, says Forest. Davis isn't a goal scorer either, but I suppose he's done a lot more than Che Adams off scoring. Yeah. Davis 100% already gelled with the team. Yeah, I agree. Che Adams has a really good season and he's starting to find the net. He holds it up well. I've seen him like him. That's a tough one as well. Now, look, David, I want you to speak a little bit about Che Adams if you're interested. So I'm going to send you over an invite link because I want you and Lee to have a little chat about that. I sound like I'm setting up a mafia meeting, don't I? Come and talk to them about it. You know what I'm talking about? We'll go for a walk. We'll go to the gas station. I've sent you a link to that, David. Tavernier from Borough, 10 million. Any of you would have him for that? I don't really know much about Tavernier, to be honest.
Isn't he a right back or winger? I could be wrong.
I have no idea. I think he's...
I don't know where he plays. He's played all over, hasn't he?
I hope he's not a defender. We certainly don't want to be spending another 10 mil on that defender.
I'm sure he's played defence before, but he might be a winger.
Unless he's defensive. Defensive midfielder, maybe.
Be a winger. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Che Adams is an Ilkeston Town reject. Yeah.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Right.
No for me.
Right, Lee. David Paul's joining us now. David, I hope you're well, my friend. It's good to have you on.
How you doing? You good?
I'm all good. We can hear you very well. Now, I want to ask you the question because Lee doesn't like Che Adams. He doesn't think he'd suit well at Forest.
I don't like him. Rephrase that. Makes me sound horrible.
All right, he wouldn't fit in at Forest.
For us, I don't think he's good enough.
David, what do you have to respond to that?
Well, first of all, I think it's a fair comment. When we were looking at Che Adams a few years ago and Stuart Pearce was looking at him, and I think we wanted to pay 30k, and Fawaz said no. And I think most of Forest fans had their head in their hands. And then we've seen him. He went to Birmingham, didn't he? And did all right there. Don't think he did too well in the Premier League when he first went up there. But I saw him a couple of times last year, Lee, playing for Scotland. Now, I don't know why I was watching Scotland play international football. But there he was. And I saw him take the ball at international level, outside that 10 spot. He was kind of like playing, he was holding the ball up. And I thought, actually, this guy's got a really good first touch. He's a big guy. He's very mobile. And so you take that aspect, and now you look at the Forest team. What have we got at the moment? Do we have a striker like that who can do that at this very moment? We don't. We had Graben, who was a fox in a box type of player. We've got Surridge, and we're just trying to learn about Surridge, aren't we, in the way that he plays. But he doesn't seem to be that sort of hold-up guy. And Johnson isn't that hold-up guy, though. He was trying to learn how to hold the ball up way. And of course,
Awonyi can do that, though, can't he? That's what Awonyi can do. He can hold the ball up. He's a big, strong guy. Can I ask who was Scotland playing that made Che Adams look really good?
Oh, probably nobody. Probably Alf.
That's my point. That's my point. No,
but his first touch was good. And you know what? Let's just look at stats, because I'm not a massive watcher of the EPL. I only ever watch Forest and nothing else.
Yeah,
that's going to change now. But look at the stats. Southampton are not an overperforming team. They're not particularly blessed with fantastic talent, and that guy's performing reasonably well. Let's put some bigger talent around him, and let's see what he can do. You know, let's give him some ammunition, and I'd like him up there. Would I like him and Davis at the same time? I don't know if they could play together in the same 11. I don't think so. However,
and also we can't forget Surridge as well. Surridge is still at the club. We can't forget that Surridge is there.
We can't. Good player, very good player. But somebody mentioned earlier on here tonight comparing Davis to Zinkernagel in that Zinkernagel role, and I'd actually say that's a very astute comment to make, because I don't see Davis as an out-and-out striker. The amount of times he picked the ball up in the halfway line and shrugged off a couple of players in that 10 role, and we've been crying out for that for the last few years now. I'm going to mention João Carvalho. We would have loved him to have had the ability to pick the ball up, wouldn't we, in that middle part of the park and sprayed it left or right or through, and he couldn't. What Davis did, he was able to pick that ball up and carry it in a very special way. Zinkernagel couldn't always do that. Zinkernagel was knocked off the ball a little bit. So whoever mentioned Davis coming in and playing in that 10 role, I've got to say hats off to you. I think that's a really good spot.
That's the thing with Davis. He can bring other players in, can't he? You can relieve the pressure, put it up to him, he'll win it, bring it down, and either run or lay it off. And that's why I think he would be better than Che Adams, personally. There's going to be times in that Premiership where we're getting bombarded. It's inevitable. Doesn't matter who we sign.
To go back to your argument earlier of versatility, I'm going to agree with you, because I will say that Davis is more versatile. He can play on that left, he can play up front, and he can play in that 10 role. Whereas I would say that Che Adams is less versatile, but I would say he's more competent as a striker at the Premier League. But the art of good is getting the best out of what you've got, right?
Well, just before you go though, David, I do want to ask you, if you were to sign Che Adams, regardless of what people have said, how much would you pay for him?
That's a really, really good question. It's a toss-up, isn't it, of what would you pay and what would Southampton be willing to let him go for, and also you have to, how deep are our pockets? How much are we willing to spend? Premiership striker, playing international football, albeit for Scotland. He's got some goals last year. He is improving. He's probably closer to 12 to 15 million rather than Davis is.
I saw a Southampton fan that said they won't accept less than 25 million.
Ridiculous.
That's my point. You just wouldn't do it.
Bring me the drugs. Do it. Because 25 for him, nah. I mean, you may as well go and pay 500,000 for Gordon Jury.
Bring Ian Dowie back. Yeah, right. No
But
chance.
before I go, gents, thanks very much for a really good discussion. Very, very good. Lovely points that you brought to the table. I've got a question for you.
Hmm.
Do you think that we're going to get enough goals across the pitch for next season from all different players? Because this season we scored goals from different parts. Maybe not enough from centre defence. But do you think we've got enough goals coming next season?
And this is the thing, and this is why I think we need people. If we are going to get Davis, we need him to at least hit double figures and chip in with at least 10. You know what I mean? Maybe Surridge the same, chipping in with 10. I think we're hoping Awoniyi is going to be the one that can get at least 15 plus goals, aren't we? Again, we don't know what the midfield is yet.
Well, that's
we need goals everywhere, don't we? Let's be honest.
Well, I think based on how Cooper plays, I think it will be quite well spread out between the team because the team isn't built around Awoniyi. The team is a team. That's how it is.
That was the problem with Zinc, though, wasn't it? I think Cooper was hoping Zinc could chip in with a few more goals, being sort of that advanced role, that number 10. And I think that's why he wants someone like Gibbs White who can score goals.
Yeah, Zinc lacked that little bit of composure. We saw it against Liverpool. He's a wonderful player. Actually, I think his move to Olympiacos is fantastic. He'll have a little bit more time on the ball over there, and I think he'll absolutely fly. It's interesting what you were saying earlier, by the way, about O'Brien coming in. I think we played against him 4 times last season, didn't we? Including the cup game. And that guy, he plays the 6, he plays the 8, he plays the 10 role. Jay, you brought some great stats up earlier. He scores goals. You want versatility? Oh, I'd love to see him and Garner in our midfield. And they're both obviously inexperienced in terms of experience within the Premiership. But wow, as you said, one can play left and right. The other one go through the midfield. It's a very, very dynamic duo there. And if I was Forest, I'd be serious about bringing them both in.
So, okay, a question to you and for the people in the comments. If you could sign a free transfer, who would it be out of the people that are on free transfers now? Because there's quite a few good number 10s and stuff around.
Who's available?
You've got players like Ramsey, out of the box, Diabolo, whatever his name is. There's all sorts of people there, isn't there, on frees? Not that we would ever get him. But if you...
I wouldn't want him.
The boat's already sailed.
For example. Like Ramsey or Fabregas. Would you take Fabregas? There's players like this around. You know.
I would like to rephrase the question. Would I take a really good free transfer as long as they came with the amount of experience required?
He wouldn't have to run with the pace we've got in our side.
That's a really good point. See, we don't have that 30-year-old. We do in Colback, but... You know, we brought Steve Cook.
Brain, isn't it? The Bergkamp-esque football brain.
Absolutely. Steve Cook was that one last year. He came in January. He made that difference. And whether it's a free transfer or we chuck him some money out for somebody, I'd like to change the question and say, rather than go for free transfer, would you actually go and buy somebody who's a 30-year-old as opposed to somebody who's less than 26, 27? Because we need experience in the park.
I think for me, it would have to be a free transfer. Someone like, just an example, Ramsey or Fabregas. Now, I'm not saying we go out and get them, but...
Well, Ramsey last season, it actually wasn't that bad. I mean, from what it says at the moment on Soccer Base, he's 31. He's got a bit of time left, hasn't he? And he's got a bundle of experience as well, which I like. He had 5 appearances last season and 2 goals. So, not bad. And he's done a lot off scoring goals as well, as a midfielder does.
He knows Williams. They've got that link up.
I would like to... Yeah, go on, David.
Does he want it? Does Ramsey want it? And I know the boat say I'd have gone out for Bale. I would have absolutely gone out for Bale. I said to him, you and Johnson up front will get you in the quarterfinals, semi-finals of the World Cup.
I agree, but I think this is
again. It's Cooper, isn't it?
But this is Ramsey. I would say this is one of Ramsey's last chance, if not the last chance, for him to make his way into probably bigger league football. Because let's be honest, you're 31, you're at Rangers.
You got 3 years, haven't you?
You got 3 years left. How many opportunities are you going to have to go to the Premier League? I don't think many.
I just love how you said Rangers. They're the 3rd biggest club in Scotland, right?
3rd biggest?
I don't know, just relegated. You said 2nd earlier.
So who's the other biggest? Are we talking Aberdeen now?
Yeah, Shay Adams is probably the second biggest, isn't he?
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Well, I can see Lee already shivering in his boots. He does not like that comment at all. Well,
No.
listen, David, it's been great having you on. We'll have to have you on again very soon. Been good to talk to you. And good to have some questions from the guests as well, because it's when you said let's ask a question, I was kind of like, wow, okay, let's ask a question. The interviewer being interviewed is great. It's been a pleasure to have you on. And I hope you take care, and we'll see you very soon. Do keep in contact as well, because we'll have you on next.
Good night. See you all. Bye bye.
Take care, David. Bye. So that was David Poole there. Amazing. Good to talk to him. And he gave his opinion on Che Adams and more. 187 of you in now. Like, we're literally 6 subscribers off 700.
Like and subscribe, guys. Hit that button. It's free.
Exactly.
Hit that button.
It's free. And do you know what? We're literally 6 subscribers off. We've already hit the watch time limit that we need. So if we can just go for that 700, that'd be great. So let's have a look at some of these comments. Nick says he'd take him on a 1-year deal.
Yeah,
Ramsey would be an interesting one. Would potentially run the game. I think he'd do really well.
What about Fabregas with his range of passing?
No,
it's his footballing brain. He doesn't need to have legs. He's got everyone around him with legs, hasn't he? With a wing backs and Jono. No.
I mean, he's 35.
Yeah, but he says he can still do it.
It's all right him saying that, Lee, but I just think we haven't got time to gamble around with 35-year-olds that want big money. That's my thoughts on it.
I just don't think he wants to do it. Even if he
didn't want a lot, though, like, he's still a player that you register into the team. I just think it's a wasted position.
Yeah,
we're not that team anymore.
He's not. I don't think he's bothered about the money. He's made his money. You know what I mean?
Well, where is he at the moment? Where is he?
He's just left. Is it Monaco? He's just left. He's on a free now from Monaco, I think.
He was there for quite a few years, wasn't he?
Is it Monaco? I don't know. I
think you're right, yeah. I think it was Monaco. Yeah, and he's had a good career. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I've got nothing against Cesc Fabregas.
He's still going to have that brain, isn't he? He's still going to have that know-how to thread a ball through. I'm just saying that even as a squad, sort of a squad player, if someone with a bit of brains.
Well, listen, let's talk about this because I said it, and when Hull first came to the City Ground this season, it was one of my first games commentating. I said to the man that works in the media at Hull, I said, "Do you know what? I would give an arm and a leg tap at Forest," because he said to me, Keinan Lewis Potter is one of the best players I've ever seen play for Hull. He said that I would love it, if he could stay at Hull forever, but he knows he can't. And I said, well, maybe if Forest went to the Prem, joking with him, we could have him. But obviously that reality could have been a thing. But Brentford, as Nick has rightfully said, has signed a 6-year contract at Brentford. Brentford are making good moves.
20 million as well, I believe, with add-ons.
What do you think about that price tag? 20 million?
That's with add-ons. So it's 16, I believe, up front, and then add-ons makes it up to 20 million.
I think he's worth it.
I mean,
what?
Yeah, I rate him. I want just to sign him.
Where would he fit in a Forest team if you're playing like a 5-3-2?
He's quite a versatile player as well, isn't he?
So would he be a wing back, or would he be a striker? Or
he wouldn't be a striker. I mean, could he potentially? Because apparently, I saw on Sky the other day he created something like 52 chances last season. So could you have potentially made him a number 10? I mean, I don't know. Just outside the box.
He will be a massive Premier League talent.
Oh yeah.
You see him in the next 5 years, and he'll be all over the headlines.
Worth it than Gibbs White in terms of value for money for what prices are being branded around. I'm not saying for 1 minute they're the same type of player. I'm just talking about value for money.
Well, I like him. I've always very, very much liked him. It's a shame we didn't get him, to be honest. But fair play to Brentford. Potentially half the price of Gibbs White. Good signing for Brentford.
That's my point. That's my point.
And well, Burnley's Nathan Collins has joined Wolves as well. Wolves are going to be even more. Well, I mean, Nathan Collins, where does he play? He's a midfielder, I'm pretty sure. Is he a midfielder or is he an attacker? Let me have a quick look. Because if he is a midfielder, take that as you want. But for me, that would almost be them saying, let's prepare for Gibbs White to go. Although I wouldn't say so in a way, because I don't really think he's a centre back. So no.
Corney, he's supposed to be good, isn't he, from Burnley?
Corney, yeah.
He's fast, pacey winger, isn't he? He can score goals. Again, he chipped in with 9 goals. A lot of
Burnley lost 14 players, didn't they, when they went down? 14 players left. So they need to recover money, and they're in a lot of debt as well. What happened to that Arsenal player we were interested in, Nathan Miles? That's completely gone dry. Nothing about Nathan Miles currently, which is weird because I actually thought he would be decent.
Well, he might still be a good shot if the rumoured fee of 8 million is still there, given what we're struggling with in midfield at the minute. I'd pick him up for 8 million all day long.
Well, in his career, and because I completely agree with you, Lee, apparently he's got 261 appearances both at youth and pro level. He's got 9 goals and 20 assists. So, not ridiculous stats by any means. But
a lot of sub appearances, weren't they, with Arsenal?
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, exactly. I mean,
and playing on the right hand side, he's versatile as well. So you gain that with him as well. He can play all over.
Mate, I think he's still a very good option. I mean, it didn't quite go to plan for him under Mourinho at Roma, but I think he's still got time to really kind of prove what he's about.
Is he 24? He's got plenty of time.
He's got a bundle of time, and he's been at Arsenal, so he's been through a really good youth coaching system. Whatever you say about Arsenal, they're a decent team. So
yeah.
Harry Winks, please, says David, potentially, but I think he was looking at a move to, was it Leeds? He was going to.
I've heard someone else. I don't know who it is. I don't know where.
I heard Leeds mentioned. I think it's the wages for Niles. Yeah, I mean, he is moving from a fairly decent Prem side, and I'm sure that Arsenal have probably thought he's going to be the next big thing, and don't know how well that's paid off.
At least 50k, won't he?
Yeah. Cornet's got a release clause of 17 million.
Yeah.
So
I think he's worth that, isn't he?
And Cornet, and he scores goals in the Prem. So proven Prem player.
Last season in a struggling Burnley side, and assisted quite a few as well, by all accounts.
Well, people are liking the idea of Maitland-Niles, but Ant says good player, but massive wages. Yeah, I don't think you really need that. If I'm being honest, I think we need to be.
We are in the Prem though. We have got to an extent start paying Prem wages now. I'm not saying
until you're a proper established Prem player, I'm not comfortable paying you ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
You know what I mean? Henderson has literally got records for saving Sheffield United. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He packed them up.
Can't do much for him because that's his contract. He's still on.
Exactly, and he's done really well for them. 7-0 DC United, and Rooney's taken him over. They're all the best, Rooney. Juan Mata, they lost 7-0. Juan Mata on a free, 34. Do you know what? I did say about age with Fabregas. My only concern with Mata would be the wages, because I know he's on quite large wages. But he was quite good for Man United whenever he played, actually, I think. Passionate, and he's got a lot of experience. I might have him at Forest, but even then, 100%.
No way.
Yeah, because he's been playing at the highest level of football till this age. Fabregas has been playing on and off at Monaco. Don't forget. Right?
Better. I'm sorry. It's a better
Guys, come on, let's settle this, because me and Lee are going to be going at this until we go home from Germany.
Anyone pass a ball like him?
Don't get me wrong, Fabregas and Mata would not be our first picks, because I just want to say I want to go for younger players. That'll be my approach.
But if you want a bit of experience and squad depth, I'd like Ramsey, to be fair. I'd like to give him a go, even if it's one season, like that comment earlier on said.
Well, number one door fan says was linked to Milivojevic. That's a mouthful, isn't it? From Palace. So yeah, it's also a good option. Might go back in for Niles. Owen's right, yeah. With Yates being injured, this is going to change a lot about the midfield, how we're going to go about it. Because as much as we love to have Yates in the squad and stuff, the team are looking and they're going, right, look, we need depth, because from what we've seen now, this is it. So, but David says Monaco or Bulwell for Fabregas. Fabregas all day long, really?
Yeah.
I thought Fabregas had retired years ago as well, Greg. You're absolutely right.
No, he's still going. He's still kicking the ball.
But Phil says Fabregas all day long.
All day long. That guy's a baller.
Well, Mark says Fabregas is a better passer, but Mata in the Prem until now. So I'd have Mata. That's my thoughts on it.
I think how fit they are compared to each other, can't we? It's a bit difficult.
Mata would be.
You can't say that. He's a professional club of a high standard. Monaco.
You can look at the Premier League over the last year or two, and Mata has been there. Fabregas has been in Monaco for years.
Doesn't mean he hasn't been training and kept his fitness up.
Come on. If Fabregas was better than Mata, why isn't he in the Prem?
He's chose a different route, hasn't he? What can you say?
Do you think he's chose that? Do you think he's chose that, or do you think that is what's been given to him?
Of course he has. Well, he went back to Barcelona and that, didn't he? He left Arsenal, went to Barcelona. You
How
know
did
what I
that
mean?
go?
Say the same with Matt. Look at the teams he's been around.
He's been to Chelsea and United, both, at the times, very good teams. When he was at Chelsea, very good side. When he was at United, they had their ifs and buts. But was he there under? I don't think he was there under Fergie, but I think he was there under Moyes, wasn't he?
It was under Mourinho, wasn't it? Because they had the
Mourinho.
all out at Chelsea, then they was reunited with him at Man U.
I can remember because he was in that shirt that Man United did, the really horrible red shirt with like a black collar on it. That was disgusting. That Nike one. That was
The
disgusting.
new one ain't much better.
I like the new one. I don't know what you all think about that, but I think the new
horrible.
United kit is gorgeous.
That's horrible. Gorgeous.
Yeah,
I knew
love
you
it.
was a United fan.
I'm not a United fan at all by any means, but I like that shirt, that style of shirt. I think it looks good on Arsenal as well. Not as quite as good, but yeah, it's a bit better on United, to be honest. Imagine having this discussion this time last year.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's crazy.
Savor the moment, guys. Savor the moment because
this is why you enjoy it, don't you? This is what this season's about. Enjoy it, even if we get pummeled. Just enjoy it.
And just remember, it's never arguments on this channel. It's never arguments. It's only discussions.
It's debate. It's a debate.
And we love doing this because we're all Forest family. We all love each other. It's brilliant.
Although he's Man U, really.
I don't support. Stop.
He's got about 10 teams, JS. Yeah.
Oh, no, I like Celtic. And in Germany, it'd be Cologne, wouldn't it? Because of the Forest connection. You can stop it as well. I know there's a few of you dropping out, so we're going to kind of limit this to the last 15 minutes of the stream and then go. Because, I've got school in the morning, so I need to be thinking about that. I'm a child, aren't I? Give Jay a sub, guys. Look, that can literally either be a subscribe or you could buy me a Subway. Either one you want. I'm happy. We're one subscriber off 700. Come on.
There's got to be one person in
It's got to be, look. It's not going to calibrate, is it? No, slowly. No, you still can't see it. Well, there you go. At 700, I'll make the screen work.
There's got to be one to take it to 700.
There's got to be one of you to take it to 700. Let's go. Ooh, some other names been thrown into. Jay, you are a Man United. I'm not a Man United fan.
Thank you, Anne.
I'm a Forest fan. I love Forest. I've always loved Forest. And I've been to Forest way before I went to United for the first time. And by the way, I was forced to go to United. So say what you want. Ramsey was on 280k a week at Rangers.
Yeah, we're not going to pay that, obviously.
Well, in my opinion, then anything over 100 for him, and I'm not doing it really. I don't think.
I'd be gutted at paying any more than 50, to be fair. But
I'm going to chuck a couple names into a hat, right? And I want to know who you'd rather have out of the two: Ruben Loftus-Cheek,
good player,
or Ross Barkley, or both. Who would you have, and why?
For me, Barkley's the better player.
Okay.
But it's what his motivation is, because you'd have thought he'd have smashed it at Chelsea, and he's just been. It's almost like he's not been bothered. Now I could be totally wrong, but that's how it's sort of appeared to me. I think the talent that lad's got, he could be a match winner on his day, or that's the ability he had. I don't know about now. I'd like to see Barkley 100% if he's going to turn up and he's actually going to play for the side and put a shift in. If he's going to be lazy like what he seems to have been, then I'd rather Loftus-Cheek, because he always seems to give his all, doesn't he?
So are you team Barkley or Loftus-Cheek?
Either. I'm going to sit on the fence. Yeah.
Well, Paul here says Douglas Luiz. I think he's at Aston Villa, is he?
Mm.
So that's an interesting one. Cole Palmer on loan.
I thought you said Colton Palmer then. I was going to say that's going back a bit.
No, that's going back a little bit too far.
Yeah,
I think a little bit too old. For me, Barkley could get him cheaper and they'll have a bit of chip on the shoulder. He's got a lot of Prem experience as well. He's a match winner. Next player will be from the German or French league. And now I know a lot of you dropping out because it is late at night, and I just want to thank you as well because as it was rightfully pointed out by the amazing Lewis Ketley, we have hit 700 subscribers. So yeah, thank you all very much. For the two people that have made it 701 now, and I'm going to say their names out loud. Oh, Gemma Brown and Robert Hardstaff. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me. Heroes.
Thanks,
come
guys.
on. Welcome to the team. Onwards and upwards, I think they would say.
Yeah.
So Dominic says Barkley was injury prone, poor at Villa. Barkley's more of a 10, Loftus-Cheek more of an 8. Ross Barkley, no brainer. Interesting.
I like both players, to tell you the truth. They'll both do a job.
I'd like either. Look, to think we're even thinking about it is crazy. Get Bukalakis back from Olympiakos.
Bukalakis.
Do you know what though? He had a shot on him. He did.
He did.
Every time that man got outside the box.
Them 2 goals against Brentford, fantastic.
But you know it. I remember I didn't go to watch that game. I'd finished football and I got home and I remember my dad just ringing me to tell me what had happened. He's 2 crazy goals from Bukalakis. And I mean, you watch them goals. He was amazing, and as soon as you saw this guy outside the box, you knew what you were saying straight away. Shoot. Yeah. But it's the best feeling, when you see a player running down the wing and everybody goes, go on. And then it happens. It's just the best thing. And do you know what? As much as I don't think Bukalakis would even get near this Forest team, I think he's done whatever and scored a good couple of goals for us. So fair play to him. Villa want Louise gone, so it would be a great signing for the first season.
They'd probably overinflate his price again, though. That'd be the problem.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, Villa are a bit of a no-go, it looks like, valuation-wise. Paul just straight out wants Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, like I said earlier, he's, I don't know, could he be a potential loan?
But so I'm going to put you in another hypothetical situation. Let's say that you were in negotiations with Chelsea and they said, we don't want Conor Gallagher anymore and we know that you've got interest. How much do you think Chelsea would want and how much are you willing to bid?
I heard on the radio they said that around 40. If you're going to spend 30 on Gibbs White, I'd rather spend 30 on Conor Gallagher.
Well, would you pay the 40 for Conor Gallagher?
No, because I think for Forest, that's at this stage, I think that's a bit too much. We've got a budget, we've still got to be shrewd with it. It's still, to certain aspects, limited budget, isn't it?
And plus, I don't even really think that
30, I'd try and say, well, look, we'll pay you 30. It might be 30 with add-ons.
But I don't even think that it's a conversation paying a little bit more for Morgan Gibbs. If you had a choice between Morgan Gibbs White and Conor Gallagher for 30 million, it would evidently be Gallagher because his experience and the reasoning for his valuation is because of Prem experience.
Yeah.
And also he's done it on an international level. Don't forget, he played a bit for England in the Nations League. So Villa would ask 30 million for Louise. Yeah, and I mean 25 million with 10 in add-ons. I'd pay that for Conor Gallagher personally. I'd do it. I think he's worth 30 million straight out. But obviously you want to get the best. What about that Man U player that went to Birmingham on loan? I can see Lee's face. Look, he's thinking about it.
Trying to think who it is.
It's not Facundo Palestri. Is
it him with a big fuzzy afro?
Oh, you're on about what's it?
I can picture him. I can't.
Dutch lad.
Tahith
Chong. Tahith Chong. Yeah, Tahith Chong. That's who it is. Massive afro. Yeah. He was at Birmingham City on loan, 21 to 22. Yeah, that's right. God, that took a while to come out. I should have known that. So in his season, he had 20 appearances and 1 goal. Obviously, doing a little bit more other than goals, as we've said throughout the stream. But I don't think he's ready for Prem yet.
I think we need a little bit more than that, don't we? In terms of, it's not that he hasn't got the ability. We just need a bit more.
You got to think about it. United aren't going to sell him as well.
We
can't get a loan.
We do need levels.
Well, Brewster is wanted by the police for imitating a footballer. Not just that, but I know that he's actually being charged by
throwing someone on the floor as well.
He's being charged. Him and Ollie. What's his name? Ollie McBurney.
McBurney. Yeah.
Yeah. So careful. Keep it PG now, Lee. Can't say that anymore. Oh yeah, past Watershed, so you can all do one. Luis would be great at 15 million. You're not going to get it for him though. If they're valuing Davis at 15 million, Luis may as well cost 60. I shouldn't have said that now because I'll give Stevie G ideas. Gallagher would be loan and option to buy next season at 30 to 40.
I would take that.
Yeah, I'd take it, but I think take it. Yeah, I would take it.
If we could do it that way, then why not?
I mean, well, Forest Dan brings up a point. Chowdhury, I know that he was linked with Nottingham Forest, but I'm not that.
Personally, I don't rate him at all. That's just me, though.
Well, Steve Cooper's still got to sign a new contract, so we're waiting for that. More importantly, it was agreed in principle in Greece, but nothing. He will do. I think he'll probably do it just before the season starts. I think he wants to get pre-season out of the way first and make that his priority. Yeah, we do need to make that. We need to make a good bid as well, because Everton had a £20.5 million bid rejected. So I think if they're going to make a bid, and I would say this would be my final bid, 25 million, that'd be it. And I still think that's really pushing it. I think that's really pushing it.
I think that's a stretch. Right.
There's Chair from QPR.
I like him. Yes, yeah.
Podence.
Yeah.
Hudson Odoi.
Yeah.
Played under Cooper. Yeah, I think he's a good option. Yeah. I think we'd benefit from having a Premier. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. That's why
we need that boss, don't we? We need that midfield general.
Yeah. Willock's also an option. People saying Joel Perreault as well for a backup striker, potentially. Oh, God, not Will Hughes. Not Will Hughes. Please,
Can you imagine that? Derby fans would be peeing themselves without him.
Oh, yeah. That'd be an experience. But no, I'm not interested in any of that. Just like when people were saying, would you have their striker? What's his name? I should know it now, but he's that irrelevant.
Have they got one?
Oh no, they haven't. No, they have now. They have now. Just about, yeah. I think they're all over 31. But Wallace at Millwall, he's not at Millwall anymore. Don't forget, he's at West Brom.
He's signed for West Brom already.
He's at West Brom. So Tottenham. Yeah. What's that profile picture? Is that Football Manager or something? Anyway, Newcastle.
Arsenal who freaked out. When Graben scored. I'm sure it is.
Oh, that's brilliant. I like that.
That goal. I'm sure that's him who freaked out. Went mad.
Andy, if you can, send me that on Twitter. It's I'm Jamie Martin, as you can see from the thing that just underneath your comment. Send that to me, please, because that's class. Josh Sargent from Norwich. I don't think they'll let him go. I don't know if any of you saw that goal that he scored a couple of months ago, but Josh Sargent is a really good player. I think he moved over from the German leagues. Might have been Leipzig or one of those kind of teams, or Frankfurt. But he's a good player. I don't think Norwich will get rid of him.
Haaland's cousin, who you was on about, who's at Mold.
Yeah, Braut Tjaarland. Yeah, Tjaarland's. He's solid. Let's have a look at some of Tjaarland's stats, shall we? Let's have a look at some of his, because I know that everybody's going about him. I think he plays for Molde, which I think is in Sweden or Norway or one of the two. So on transfer market, Albert Tjaarland. There's not actually a lot known about him, to be honest. Stats wise, they haven't even given me any goals or assists or anything. So that's an interesting one. No one can give me any stats.
He's supposed to be a bit of a banger, isn't it? Just like
he's supposed to be doing good.
Yeah.
Andrew says he wanted Scott Twine in the mix.
He's already signed for Burnley, hasn't he?
Yeah, so there's no way. I don't know. Someone mentioned Fabian Delph.
O'Hare, Burnley want O'Hare, don't they?
I think Burnley.
For $5 million. Would you take O'Hare, nip him for $5 million? Potentially, he's a number 10 and he's young and he's creative.
Nah.
And he's a good player. Do you not think he could make the step up?
I think he probably could, but
I think he's a good player.
Yeah, but where would he? Let's be realistic. You're going to get two priority midfielders and then one maybe that's going to be a depth. Would it be that depth? I'd have someone like Gustavo Harmer as a depth. I think he could do it. I don't, so...
I want Hamer. I'd have O'Hare over Hamer all day long. O'Hare's their star man.
Yeah, I think, but equally, I think Harmer's doing quite well. So I think that Coventry really like him. But they're bringing in good players as well. But there's a lot of you jumping out now, so we are going to call it a day in just a moment. And yeah, Ryan Yates out with a sprained ligament in his knee. So tough one for him, really. But yes, Mr. Dorr, how are you, lad? I don't think Mr. Dorr jumped in. Oh, he is. Just got back from the game. Decent performance from Forest. So, obviously they made a lot of changes in that second half. So it's not to be unexpected almost. Because obviously
pretty much changed the whole side, didn't they? There enough.
Exactly. It's a tough one because obviously it is pre-season, but equally you've got good players on that pitch, but they're still taking time to gel together. and they made a lot of different changes in that second half, as they did in the last game. I can't remember how many changes it was this time. It was over 8 changes, I think. So, yeah, Dor, if just let us know what you think about the game, and we'll have to talk about that on another stream. Now, I just want to make you all aware that I won't be streaming tomorrow because I've got work, and I really can't do any really ridiculously late night streams tomorrow because it'll be late enough, and I do need rest because at the moment I'm living off 6 hours sleep a night to make all this happen. So I need a bit of a rest. So no stream tomorrow, but there will be a stream Thursday as usual at 8 o'clock in the evening. And I think that'll be it. I don't think Dor is streaming on a Thursday. I think he works on a Thursday night. So I don't know what the situation is with that. But Thursday we're back. Nothing tomorrow, and that will be it. So that has been a good stream, hasn't it? We broke records because the most we had on stream today was 205. So I think we're just about broken a record there for me. And who could we have done it with better than the man himself, Megaphone Man, Lee?
It's been a pleasure.
It's been great. And I just want to shout out football through the 92. So
live soon.
We're going live soon.
In
when we're
Berlin.
in Germany,
We're going live in Berlin. And
this is it. And you can find us on Twitter.
Fulham fan coming on. We've got a guest. I've got that booked in already.
You can't see it very well, but football through the 92 on Twitter. Or you can just literally tweet at through the 92. That'll be me and Lee running that, and that'll be for all 92 clubs. But we've got a bit more coming out on that very soon. But as for me, I mean, literally, I'm sweating my tits off. Sorry to use that language, but I've drank basically 2 pints of water. And we haven't even signed anyone today. So just imagine when we do. Remember, so no stream tomorrow, stream Thursday at 8. And also, when transfer deadline day happens, we're going to do an extra long stream. And then after that, it'll be a stream and a video once a week. That's all you'll be getting, unless there's any breaking news. So I will need time to relax and enjoy this summer, believe me. So, yeah, been a pleasure. I appreciate all your kind words and stuff. 703 subs, guys. If you just want to make it 705, just to, I like those kind of numbers. Yeah, just for the pants. If you want to make it 1,000, I don't mind. But 705, come on, let's do it, because I don't like odd numbers like that. I know 5's an odd number. Don't call me out for it. I'm not silly, but I prefer it to be a 5 or a 0 kind of thing. Cracking stream tonight, Gromit. If that's a comment on the teeth, I don't appreciate that. No, I'm joking. Or the ears. I think it's the ears, isn't it? Look, my ears are actually hidden below these, so nobody can insult my Champions League head, almost. So. And to hear, I would recommend looking back through the stream. Lots of players. Davis looks like he could be signing at some point if talks go well, because they're holding talks, and more. But as for me and Lee, it's been a pleasure. Warren, cheers for your kind words. Phil as well. Night, everybody. Sleep well. Remember to keep your fan on all night, because it's going to kill you if you don't. And also take plenty of antihistamines, because I'm being bitten to shit at the moment. So pleasure to have you all on. And have a fantastic